Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome back to another live stream. Pigskin Addicts here. What's up? What's up? Excuse me. Let's see. What's up, Matt? What's going on? Checking the tweets here. Let's see. Okay. Um. So what I wanted to do here is go over some of the tape that was out there. Tape just came out yesterday morning, Tuesday morning. The Chargers defensively, I have never ever felt more. Um, I don't want to say worried, but I've never felt less confidence in a coach. Really, just the basics, things that are supposed to be rather simple, rather elementary. It seems to really eat the Chargers up. There is some stuff that I've seen on tape that really is just mind-boggling. It's perplexing. I don't know. I don't quite understand what goes through Brandon Staley's head. I don't know what they do as far as game planning. The game plan is just not where it should be, and obviously you can see that. Some of these plays that you will see, some of the stuff that we're going to go over, a lot of it is quite like it's. A lot of it is where you sit down and you question what is going on. A lot of it is based off of hope. That's the only thing that I can think of is that Brandon Staley is hoping that some of this stuff will work. None of it really does work, and it's to me it's just mind-boggling. It really is. I also want to get into a little bit of the run game, the Chargers run game, the offensive run game, and why I think it's not working. There are some things that I seen on tape as well too that I'm looking at, where I see the Chargers can run the ball. They have the capability of running the ball. It's just they don't do it well, and I think it's a mixture of play calling, with some bad offensive line play in the run game. It just doesn't seem like they care all that much about it. I don't know. It's just the way that it looks to me. But we'll get into that right now. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump into it. I'm gonna jump into the tape here. I got some notes. Got some notes here that I took. Uh, let's see. Got some notes here that I took from the game yesterday. All right, so we're gonna jump into this tape here. Um, so I'm gonna go over the big plays, obviously, um, the plays that pretty much lost the Chargers the game. Let me go ahead and share the screen here. Um, all right, so the first play that I'm gonna fast forward to is some stuff in the run game. Now, the Chargers, they ran the ball pretty well. Um, I thought they should have ran the ball a little more, but they just didn't. They went away from that, obviously, like they always do. Like they always, are like they're always destined to do, pretty much, right? They'll get something going in the run game. Lombardi will go away from it and start doing all this fancy stuff. So I wanted to get into the run game, some pretty good reps from Zion Johnson. And I see a lot of people talking talking trash about Zion Johnson, but I think he is if he if he's in the right position, right, and if the Chargers are doing things the right way, if they're actually running the ball, if they're actually letting him do what he does best, and if they're actually letting him do what he did in college, he's very, very good, even as a rookie. So this first play right here, I want to show you what Zion Johnson does. The Chargers are able to get a pretty good chunk here in the run game. You look at Isaiah Spiller in the game; they were able to get a pretty good chunk here in the run game, and I don't know I don't know why they went away from this. I really honestly don't know. Shout out Apex Prowler. Thank you for the super chat. Salute out with the bat. Yes. Yes, sir. Hopefully they will be out with the bat pretty soon. But let's get to this play here. So you're gonna see I'm gonna run it and then I'm obviously gonna run it back. Uh, so let's play it. And you look at the yardage, right? This is a 16 yard gain here. Um, so let's go back here and let's watch Zion Johnson. I want everybody to watch Zion Johnson. Look at what he does here. This is what he did in college. When they were drafting him and when all the tape came out and everybody was looking at, you know, the different prospects, this is what Zion Johnson did in college all the time, right? He was able to help double team get up to the second level and absolutely destroy linebackers, safeties. This is what he did well. And honestly, the game plan against the Chiefs, I have no idea why it did not incorporate more of this. The Chiefs are small. They have a smaller defense, right? These guys are not big, right? When you look at linebackers, you look at Nick Bolton here, Willie Gay. They are really, really good linebackers, very fast. They're not the biggest guys, though. So if you get offensive linemen leaning on them, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, by the time the fourth quarter comes, right, they're not going to be able to shed those blocks, right? You're having Zion Johnson, you're having Matt Filer, big dudes lean on them. It's just not going to come that way, you know. So it's I want to look at this here. I want to look at this and I want you guys to see what Zion Johnson can do and how good he can be if he's put in the right positions. And these type of plays here are what the Chargers need. The Chargers need to run more center guard runs, right? There's some more plays that we're going to go over here, but you'll see that when the Chargers get cute, when they try to do this off tackle stuff, when they try to do misdirection type of stuff, it fails. It's a crash and burn. It's losing yards. This is the type of stuff, East and West. That's the only thing the Chargers need to go to focus on in the run game, East and West, because Matt Filer can get on guys just the same way Zion Johnson can. Corey Linsley is a fantastic run blocker, and you know it shows. It shows every week, but the Chargers get too cute in their running approach, and this is where the strength is right here. Filer, Linsley, Zion Johnson. This is where the strength is on the offensive line. They should be running here a lot. They should be running here at least 20 times a game, right? I mean, probably more than 20 at this point now, but they got to go here at least 20 times a game. This off tackle stuff does not really work, and we're going to see that. So I'm going to replay this. Look at Zion Johnson. Look at how quickly he gets up to the second level and how he is able to eliminate Nick Bolton in this play, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play it. Look at that. Bam. The lane is opened up. Spiller has 15 yards, right? Let's watch it one more time because I think this thing lagged a little bit. So he gets here, double team, second level, hole. Spiller has a bunch of yards. They can do this. The Chargers can do this. They can continually do this. They just don't. They get away from it. Lombardi gets away from it. Again, he gets cute with a lot of the off tackle stuff. It just does not work. It doesn't work, right? In an ideal world, it would work, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work the way that the Chargers are built right now, right? Offensively, especially when they have, you know, all of the injuries and all of that stuff, but they can do some stuff in the running game. They really can. They can do stuff in the running game. They just need to do the stuff that they're good at. All this off tackle stuff, all of this misdirection stuff, it has to go out of the window because it seems like this is a zone blocking scheme and the linemen are blocking areas as opposed to hat on the hat, right? Which I think is stupid. They need to do more hat on the hat stuff because when they do get hat on the hat stuff, they are pretty good. When they are engaged, all five linemen are engaged, they are pretty good. But they do a lot of zone stuff. And honestly, I think to me, it looks like they're confused a little bit on some of these plays. But we'll go over that. So this next play here is right here. So pretty much the same thing, right? Same thing, but this time I want to focus on Corey Linsley. Corey Linsley does the same thing. These are good offensive linemen. I see a lot of talk online about how these are good offensive linemen. I don't think the approach is there. I don't think possibly the preparation is not there. And obviously the philosophy, right? Not being really committed to the run, not being committed to the run. Doing it here and there is kind of what the Chargers do. They're not actually committed to it though. If they get committed to it, they can do a lot of good stuff. So we're going to look at this Corey Linsley play. He pretty much does the same thing. This is a good offensive line drive by the Chargers here. Corey Linsley does the same exact thing, gets on Bolton. Same exact thing. As good as the Chiefs linebackers are, they're small. They're smaller guys. You got to remember that, right? So let's look at it here. Look at Corey Linsley does the same exact thing. Watch. Snap is off, block, double team, bam. Bolton, he's eliminated. 2 straight plays, Bolton is eliminated. Right, and Bolton was making a lot of plays, but that's 2 straight plays. Bolton was eliminated. The Chargers have to do more of this up the gut between the tackles. They were having success doing it, and they have had success at several points this season doing that. Running guard, center guard. When they get off tackle, it just doesn't work because it is a zone scheme, and they do miss some assignments. So one more time, Lindsey, bam, bam, takes Bolton out of the play. Eckler up the gut, right? What is it, 7-8 yards, whatever it is, right? These are big run play chunks stuff. Huge chunks in the running game that the Chargers don't exploit. They don't exploit it. They don't really even try to at points, different points in the game. They don't try to, but this stuff works. It works. It works against all defenses. It works against all fronts, right? The Chiefs, they run a 4-3 front. They blitz a lot. They obviously have their linebackers. They fly around the field. But it works. It works. It works if you're able to run to your strengths. It works. The Chargers can do much more of this. They get cute all the time, and it throws the offense behind schedule. And I think that is the biggest thing. A lot of these trash plays, I watch other games, obviously, right? But I don't pay attention to other games the same way that I do Charger games, right? So I don't know for a fact if Joe Lombardi has the most, but to me, it seems like he calls the most trash plays in the offense, right? Trash plays where you're hoping that you can just get a 1-yard loss or a 2-yard loss, right? You're hoping. They run trash plays. The Chargers run the most trash plays, and it gets the offense behind schedule. So you're not able to run this type of stuff, right? You're going to have to throw the ball to make up for the missed yardage that you lost on some of these trash plays. If the Chargers stop calling trash plays, if Lombardi, if he converts all his trash plays into runs up the gut, the Chargers would have at least 2 more wins. I would say at least 2 more wins, maybe 1, but they would have more wins if they did that. If they were able to run up the gut, because even if you're running up the gut here, you gain 1 or 2 yards. It's not throwing you off schedule. You're not off schedule, right? You can still come back and run the ball on 2nd down, right? You can still try to make your way into 3rd and manageable. You can still do all of that stuff. So you're not in a position where you are, where you have to drop back and throw every single down, right? 2nd, 3rd, and then if you do go for it on 4th, right? You don't have to do that. You can take some of the air out of the football. You can make Justin Herbert's job a little bit easier. You can do all of that, man. You can do all of it. But the Chargers don't do it. This is not what they do. They do not focus on the strengths of what they can do. And to me, this is the most concerning thing. And if, anybody who's defending Lombardi and all of this stuff, like, you have to look at this here. This shows up on tape. What the Chargers do well. And if they're not going to this, if you're not going to the well at least 20 times a game, what are you doing? You can't be experimenting at this point in the season. This 10 game, you can't be experimenting and hoping that things work. This works. Guard, center, guard runs have worked all season long. It showed up on tape. It's worked all season long. It worked like gangbusters against the Chiefs. The Chargers just went away from it. They went away from it. And obviously you fault Lombardi and you fault Brandon Staley for even letting it happen. When you see something is working, you make them stop it. You don't give the defense a break. And this is what the Chargers have been doing. They've been giving defenses a break because all they have to do is defend against, pretty much a short intermediate passing game, no running game to speak of. They can run the ball, though. They're capable of it. So anytime you hear somebody talking about the run game not being good, it's because they don't want to. That's just what it is. These linemen are good. They're able to block. If you put them in positions right here where they're able to double team and get up on the 2nd level, they can do it every time. You've seen them with quickness. Corey Linsley, quickly. Zion Johnson, quickly. Same thing with Matt Filer. They can do this. They can do it. Guard center guard. This is where the strength of the offensive line is. They don't go there, though. Andrew Slaughter, thank you so much, man. $20. I'm addicted to Pigskin Addicts. Thank you. Thank you. I try to get on here and look at things objectively, right? And that's why I don't just pull things out of my ass. I want to, show tape so everybody can see what we're all seeing, right? And what this stuff represents, right? These are not just opinions. This is stuff that's actually going on. And again, with the running game, the Chargers got to be better. They got to be better in the running game, and it starts with play calling, obviously. Let's see, losing offensive line coach, run game coordinator Frank Smith was a big blow this offseason. 100%, and it shows too. It shows because the Chargers were able to run the ball much better than this last season, with a much worse offensive line too, as far as the talent standpoint. With the Slater injury, that obviously affected everything this year. But when you look at this, though, when you look at where the Chargers are in the run game, they're not good in the run game. Through 10 games, the Chargers haven't even gained 1,000 yards on the ground. They're much less. Their run game is much less effective than it was last season. Even to begin the season, it's never gotten really gotten going. If you take away that Browns game, they really haven't done anything on the ground. So I don't know, man. It's that was a big loss. Frank Smith was a big loss. But there's still no excuse. To me, there's no excuse. If you have a offensive coordinator who knows what he's doing, you see this, they watch the tape, they know where the strengths are. I think that there's just too much experimenting going on at this point for me. Now, this play here, we're going to get into this play here, right? This is another sign of what the running game is. And this is why I say the guard center guard, right, is the strength of the team, right? I think there's no arguing it now. When you look at this play here, the tight ends, the big sets that the Chargers run are not good. They're not good at all. And it's because, it's not just because of that, but it is a big sign. The tight ends can't block anybody, right? Trey McKitty is not, I don't know why he's on this team. He can't catch. He dropped a touchdown pass last week against the Niners, right? He had a touchdown pass, dropped it. He's had several drops this season. He doesn't catch the ball very well. He's known to be a blocking tight end, but he doesn't do that very well. And it shows up on tape. And again, this play here, we're going to see how Trey McKitty absolutely whiffs on this play. He whiffs on this play, and this play had a shot of scoring, but he whiffs on it. So let's get to it here. We'll look at it from the wide angle here, and look at McKitty here. Look what he does. He's supposed to be blocking, and his man makes the tackle, right? So look at it from the end zone view. McKitty's right here. He comes up here, and doesn't really do anything, right? It looks like he's blocking. It appears he's going through the motions, but watch McKitty, 88 here. Comes up, supposed to be blocking. His guy makes a play. Juan Thornhill. Why is he not putting him on his ass, right? How much bigger is Trey McKitty than Juan Thornhill? I don't know, but the size difference is there, right? When you look at him, the size difference is there, right? I'll try to pause it and give a big look at where he's at here. He's in a advantageous position to block this guy. He's in an advantageous position to drive him back into the end zone and put him on his ass, but he doesn't do it. Why doesn't he do it? I don't know, but he is supposed to be a blocking tight end, right? This is what he is supposed to do. He's supposed to be a blocking tight end. And this is a pretty good lane here, right? This is a pretty good lane. But Austin Eckler, he bounces outside. I don't know if it was supposed to go off tackle, but it looks like he has a pretty good lane here if McKitty is able to make this block. But watch McKitty, watch how he does not really engage this guy. Look, see, he's there. He should be finishing this block. So this should be a one-on-one here. So Eckler should be able to get outside here and potentially score, right? This is the Trent McDuffie, right? I think it's the cornerback, Trent McDuffie. If we're going heads up, right, one-on-one, I'm taking Eckler 100 times out of 100 against pretty much any corner. So this has a shot of scoring if he's able to just have a true natural one-on-one. Now, obviously, you have Nick Bolton coming across here. He's going to meet him. Like I said, Nick Bolton and Willie Gay, they are really, really good linebackers. They're very fast. But for this moment right here, this has the potential. This has a potential to possibly go for a score. If this guy's out of the picture and if Eckler is able to bounce it and bounce it and bounce it, it has a potential to score. But we see here, McKitty supposed to be blocking this guy. What is he doing? Look at this. Look at this. And, when I just freezed it right now, a second ago, he was squared up with him. He was squared up with him, able to drive him back into the end zone. But what is he doing here? What is he doing? Like, this doesn't make any sense as far as Trey McKitty being in the game. If he's not going to block, he doesn't need to be in the game, right? We know he can't catch. We've seen Stone Smart, the undrafted rookie. He runs better routes, and he looks like he has better hands than McKitty already. So McKitty's value really comes from blocking. And if he's not going to block, then why is he in the game? That's basically what I'm saying. So this is why I say, right, I was just going over it. Guard, center, guard is where the strength is, right? Because if you have guard, center, guard, if you're able to get up to the second level with guard, center, and guard, McKitty's blocks are not as important, right? You're still going to be able to rip off 7-8 yard gains. But when you run this off tackle stuff, you are relying on Trey McKitty. You're relying on the other tight ends to make these blocks that they haven't made all season long. So this is why, and even a lot of the trick plays, right? A lot of the pitch plays, a lot of the stuff that goes outside, that's designed to go outside. These guys don't make blocks. They don't get blocks. So what are you supposed to do? How is a play supposed to thrive if these guys don't get blocks? And again, this is on Lombardi, and this is why I get on Lombardi. And it's not just to get on Lombardi, and it's not just to talk shit, and it's not just to do all of this stuff. He sees this stuff. He is the offensive coordinator. He sees this. He knows that these tight ends have not been blocking well. He gets it. He understands it. So there's really no reason why you should come out here and try to experiment doing all of this stuff. There's no reason why. There honestly is no reason why. You have to go where the strength is. This is a play that you hope works. This play is not going to, or it's probably not going to work. The percentages are not good. This is a play that you hope works. You're hoping that this guy whiffs on this tackle. You're hoping that this guy slips and falls or whatever. You're hoping. You're not scheming, right? So I know when the Chargers go guard, center, guard, I know that it can work. I know that they can get up and open up some lanes, right? Even on the second level, I know the Chargers can get 5-6 yards. I know that. With here, I don't know that they can get really anything, right? Eckler, pretty good moves, makes this work, right? He's hard to bring down, even though he's not a big guy. This is what it is. This is what it is, and you have your offensive coordinator who understands this. Your offensive coordinator understands. He understands that you really can't do anything. You can't do anything on these plays. So these are hopes and wishes. These plays are hopes and wishes. That's what it is. So as you see here, continue playing it. Juan Thornhill makes the play. He makes the play because he was not blocked. Again, let's look at it. He's up here. Should be blocked. Should be in the end zone. He doesn't make the play. He doesn't make the play. McKitty doesn't make the play. And that's just what it boils down to. This is what the Chargers are dealing with here in the run game. Again, the run game is an issue, but they are capable of doing so. They're capable of doing it. It's not a focal point. It's not a focal point of the offense, and we can tell. Let's see. Okay, so this one here, this play here, we're going to get to. This is what I'm talking about when the Chargers get too cute on offense, right? When it comes to running the ball, they try to get too cute. Lombardi tries to get really cute with this stuff. We're going to take a look at this, and we are going to see what happens here. No, it's not this play. We're going this next play here. Okay, so we take a look at it here. Overhead angle. See this misdirection stuff? It doesn't work. Now we're gonna get a better view here from the end zone angle. Let's see. We're gonna let it play. So we see what the Chargers are doing here, right? With what they're lined up in. Obviously, you got your 5 linemen. McKitty is, he's not in tight, but he's right there. Look at this front here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's so much space here. And what did I say earlier, right? Guard, center, guard is where you're having the most success, right? So why wouldn't you call something guard, center, guard here? This is where Lombardi gets too cute. This is where I think he tries to impress people or something, or maybe he wants people to think that he is some offensive guru or something like that. This doesn't make sense. This obviously does not make sense. If you see this here, and I don't know, again, I don't know if Herbert is able to audible. I don't know if he can audible, but this here should be a run up the gut. If the Chargers run this up the gut, they're going to gain at least 10 yards. At least 10 yards, at least. Because if Filer can handle him, right? I think this is Chris Jones is right here. So if Filer can handle, I think this might be Saunders, number 99. Filer can handle him, right? Seal him off. Lindsley, Zion Johnson can double team Bolton, and now you have a pretty big lane, right? He can double team here. Zion can get up here, double team, and then help out on Chris Jones with Pipkins, right? He can get here, bam, bam. They can gain 10 yards. Easy, 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 easy. Dunlap is way out here. He's not going to make a difference running up the gut here. But there's so much space here. There's one guy here, one guy shaded, a little bit in the A gap, and he's a linebacker. You can take him out. You can just run up to him and just get in the way. Literally just get in the way. You don't have to block him. Just get in his way. Because Zion is so big, much bigger than Bolton. Just literally get in his way. But watch what the Chargers do here. Watch what they do. Absolutely ridiculous, right? So confusing. So damn confusing. I'm going to pause this here, and I'm going to try to pause it at the place that I paused it yesterday. So here, bam. How many people here are actively engaged in the block? How many linemen are actively engaged in the block here? A little bit here. Sawyer, a little bit. Matt Filer, not really. He's already been beaten. Zion, blocking nobody. Pipkins, kind of, not really, right? On the verge of being beat. There we go. The ball just got in Austin Ekeler's hands now, right? How many Chiefs are in the backfield? 1, 2, 3. What are they doing? What are they doing? What was this play supposed to be? I'm not sure where this play was supposed to be at, right? I guess maybe Fowler is supposed to move him out, but even still, Nick Bolton can come around and fill this here. What is this? This is called getting too cute as offensive coordinator. That's what this is called. That's called getting too cute. Like, what's going on? Really, what's going on? Really, what's going on, man? I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. Denver Henry, I've seen one play the guards ran into each other. Yes, they did, and I'm gonna get to that. I'm going to get to that. There was one play where they ran into each other again. I don't know what is going on here. I do not know what's going on here. I really don't know. But when you have a front, right? You have a light front. You have 6 guys blocking. You have all 5 of your linemen, and you have Trey McKinney. This is blocked up. Again, this is I don't know what this is supposed to be. I really don't know what this is supposed to be. And because this is a zone blocking scheme, right? None of the guards or tackles, none of them pull, right? None of them are really coming in motion to pull. So they are just supposed to block an area. But we see what's going on here. What is going on? What is going on? This play should have been for 10 yards, but they run some type of misdirection. This is what I'm talking about getting too cute. When you get too cute, you are going to lose yards. You're going to have a trash play. This is a trash play. A run up the gut, a running back dive up the gut would have gained at least 7 to 8 yards. Right, just at minimum, probably. If Ekeler is able to break a couple of tackles, he could pick up potentially 20 yards, right? He can get a big chunk. This is the stuff that happens, though. And these plays, right, this is just one play, but this can really derail a drive. If you had just picked up a couple of first downs or whatever, this can derail a drive, right? This is still first half stuff, but this is not good. It's just not good. It's not good stuff. This is not what the Chargers need to be doing right now. These guys are supposed to just, I don't know. I don't know what they're supposed to do. Instead of getting a hat on somebody, instead of driving somebody back, let's all move around here, right? And Lindsley is already behind the play, so what can he do? He can't do anything now. right? Anything else, anything that he does here is a block in the back, and it will, you know, make the problems even worse. But this just doesn't make any sense. I don't want the ball in the running back's hand with nobody being engaged in the block. Nobody being engaged in the block. All Matt Filer can do here is hold, right? There's nothing here. Nothing here. Chris Jones already in the backfield. All the Chargers can do now at this point is hold on these plays. And when you do see some of the holdings, like the holding calls, Chargers haven't had too many of them. But as you look across the league, right, some of these play calls don't do the linemen any favors. Like stuff like this doesn't do linemen any favors. Linemen need to get out and be physically aggressive, right? Not run around and let's go here, let's go there. Let's again, north, south, Charger run game, right? This is east and west stuff. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and it hasn't worked all season long. The fact that these calls, these play calls, are still on the play sheet is indicative of what Joe Lombardi is doing. It's indicative of what Brandon Staley is letting Joe Lombardi do. This is bad stuff. It's just bad. There's no way to defend it. No way. No way to defend it. And you look, you let it play. He's there with nothing. Bad plays. Just terrible play calls. Terrible, terrible play calls. And I've seen enough to really think, if I had to bet money, Herbert cannot audible out of things. He cannot. Whatever the play is called, whatever play gets called, they have to run. There's too many bad plays for this guy, this smart dude who, what did Herbert have? What did he have, like a 4.2 GPA or whatever in college? He knows that this stuff is going to, he knows this stuff is going to get blown up, right? You can just look at a front or whatever, or you can just tell by a play. This stuff is going to get blown up, but he cannot audible out of it. He hasn't been able to audible. He has not been able to audible out of any of it. So, you know, it's to me, it's just ridiculous. It really is. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. All of this stuff doesn't make any sense. This is why I wanted to come on here and show, you know, what this is, what the offense really looks like, right? Everybody's talking about Lombardi. We all watch the game. But when you turn on the tape and you see stuff like this, these are trash play calls. These are trash play calls. These are play calls that don't have any chance of working, right? You know the Chargers are not fast. You know that they don't have a lot of, you know, foot speed on offense, but you still call these plays. You still call these plays. Why do you call these plays? We don't know. These are hope and wish plays. You're hoping and wishing that these plays work, but they don't work that way. A smart play caller who understands not only his offensive scheme, but his offensive personnel would not be putting his players in this type of position here. These are bad plays that are not going to work. These happen several times a game. And again, these are all drive killers. So if you have something good going, you have to play against the defense, and you also have to play against Lombardi. If you are, you know, a player on offense, right? If you're the Chargers offense, you have to play against Lombardi too, because you can get a really good drive going, and then you can get one of these plays. Now all of a sudden it's second and 16. Now you have to make up for what, you know, you lost on whatever bad play Lombardi called. Like, not good. When you juxtapose this to what the game that Andy Reid called, it's night and day. It really is a night and day difference. So this okay, so I'm going to get to another one here, and this is pretty much of the same thing. And we all know, I've seen a lot of people in the comment section of my lives, a lot of people in the comment section when I do the watch parties, the pitches, right? We know what the pitches are. And again, it's just more of the same type of stuff, more of the same east and west type of stuff. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's get to that. I don't think it was this play here. I think it is 34. Okay, so not this one, but Austin Eckler. So this is towards the end of the first half. So look at what the Chargers are doing here, right? Again, where did I say the strength of this team was, right? Guard, center, guard. They're at the goal line in a tight formation here. You only have Josh Palmer split out here. Trey McKitty is going in motion. Now you have kind of a little student body set up here. Student body on the right side of the formation here. You got Carter, Keenan Allen, and Trey McKitty, right? Now let's watch this play as it happens. Again, another trash play. So we can watch from the end zone angle here. Another trash play. Where is here, here, here is where the Chargers have the most success, right? Obviously in the running game. Now, for this specific formation here at the goal line, you have to have Xander Horvath in here. You have to have Xander Horvath in here. You got to have your fullback in here. You need a fullback. This is why when I was talking about Jim Harbaugh the other day, Jim Harbaugh, his offense always going to have a fullback at the goal line. You're always going to have a fullback. The running back is always going to have somebody to run behind, right? Always going to have somebody to run behind, especially if your strength is here and you get a fullback to clean it up. You have a pretty good shot of getting the ball in the end zone, right? Pretty good shot of really, really good shot of getting the ball in the end zone. There's no fullback in this game. This is, again, getting too cute. This is getting too cute and thinking that you are some offensive wizard or something like that, knowing damn well that this is not going to work. How many, I would be, and I'm not going to go through it. I don't have the time to, but I would be very, very interested to see how many pitch plays the Chargers have ran all season long, right? Throughout all 10 games so far, and how many yards they have gained from the pitch plays. I can imagine that the average is probably 2 yards a carry on a pitch play, right? And that's taking in all the negative plays and maybe a few of the positive plays, maybe 2 yards, maybe less, maybe it might be a negative. I don't know. We know that it's not good enough, though. We do know that it's not good on either side, going off tackle, either side. It's just not good. This is where Joe Lombardi, again, another trash play. You have the ball here inside the 5, right? Inside the 5. This is where you should be trying to run the ball. I know that this was getting close to the end of the half. But again, you should be trying to run the ball up the gut. You should be trying to run the ball up the gut. If you can't run it up the gut 4 times or 3 times, whatever, settle for a field goal, right? And that's exactly what the Chargers did on this drive. They settled for a field goal, but they did not put themselves in position really to score. And that's the worst part of this. Run this up the gut. Try to get some blocks. Try to wash this down. Try to maybe run it here. Maybe if you are going to run off tackle, maybe you do run off tackle here in the goal line, right? Maybe your line is able to wash everything down at that point because the Chiefs are in they're in a 4-man for, well, kind of in the 6-1 a little bit what the Chargers run, but they have 4 down linemen here tight, right? Closing up all the gaps, right? So they are going to maintain gap integrity. If you can wash all this down, maybe you can run off tackle. But if you have a fullback here, you can do that, wash it down, and then run behind the fullback. But they don't do that. It's a pitch. So let's watch. Bam. The play's already dead. It's already dead. The play is already dead. Austin Eckler literally just got the ball in his hand. You can still see the ball right here. You can see the ball. I don't think he fully has it secured yet. He doesn't even fully have the ball secured, and the play is already dead. Again, I don't know. I don't look at other teams' offenses the way that I do the Chargers. I can venture that the Chargers call the most trash plays in the league. I honestly do, man. I honestly do. This is this is trash football. How are the Chargers supposed to do anything, right? And you see all of these people who are, man, talking about Justin Herbert and Herbert has to play better and all of this stuff. You can't win with this. And none of this has anything to do with Justin Herbert. He's here watching. He's watching. He's doing the same thing we're doing on these plays. Watching the offense crash and burn with these plays. This is already over. It's over. It's over. It's over. How many plays did the Chargers run where it's over before the play even really starts? This is done. It's over. It's over. You have a cornerback here who's not being blocked. He's coming out here. This guy gets off of his block. Chris Jones here. They are coming in. They're circling in from all directions. Here, here, here. What is Eckler supposed to do? This is what are they supposed to? What are the linemen supposed to do? Like, you can't succeed this way. This is my entire point. This is why I go at Lombardi, because he knows better than this. He knows better than this. He knows better. I know a little bit about football. I have not spent years in the NFL. I don't know football on that level. I know enough to see that this sucks here. This is terrible. You have no chance. You have no opportunity of doing anything with this. No opportunity whatsoever. This is bad. This is bad play calling. This is bad all the way around. And you know this. And there's nothing that these offensive guys can do. They just have to, they're 11 poor saps out there just have to run the play. None of this is accentuating in anybody's, individual skills, right? None of this. This is terrible. Again, this is hoping and wishing. There should be a play. There should be a section on Joe Lombardi's play call sheets, hopes and wishes, with all of these plays under here, because you know that they're not going to work. The Chargers try to come out and run these week after week, and they do not work. They absolutely do not work. Awful, awful. These are terrible. These are terrible. They don't work. So what else can you say? What else can you say there? What else can you say? Let's rewind it. Let's go back. I want to get, bam. Look at this. Keenan Allen whiffs on this block. Ball is still in the air, right? Over. It's over. It is over. This guy didn't even have to make the play either. All he has to do is shoot straight upfield, and now Eckler has to go back this way, or maybe try to bounce it out, which this guy's out here. There's literally no way you can gain a yard. This is a negative play. There's no way that this can be a positive play. And this is not even just exclusive to the goal line. This happens, 20 to 22 as well too. This is just bad. It's just bad. And look at that. Look at that. Look how many Chiefs are there. 1, 2, 3, and there's 4. How can they get any positive yardage out of this? How can they get any positive yardage? There's no way. It's just no way. It's just bad. Bad all around. Bad all around. You will see what happens, right? This is a loss, a negative play. This is what Joe Lombardi does. I just don't know. I don't know how anybody sees anything else. It's just bad. It's just honestly just bad football. Now, this run here, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So this was after this was the going into halftime. So this is still the first half. Now as I rewind here, I'm going to get across halftime. Halftime was at 38 minutes. So I'm going to fast forward here a little bit, and this is the play that who was it in here? This was the play that who was the brother? Denver Henderson was talking about. The play where I'm pretty sure it's a play that they were crashed into each other. Pretty sure it was this one. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, 36. Yeah. So this is the one here with the pitch to Isaiah Spiller. So again, more bad play. More bad play. This is your strength here, right? This is your strength. You have the lanes. You have some of the gaps here. You're probably able to. I don't think this is going to go for a big gain if they run it up the middle, but you can probably make a positive play out of it, 3 to 4 yards. Especially the way Isaiah Spiller sets up blocks. He's really good at that. He can get 4 to 5 yards out of this, I would say, and make it a positive play, put you in a advantageous second or third down. Very easy, something very simple that he can do. But what do the Chargers do instead, right? So we're going to let it play first. So what is this? Oh, another off tackle. Great. All right. So let's get back to it now. Let's rewind it. Now, when I was watching this play yesterday, I was absolutely perplexed. To me, this is why I said, like, if you are going to run a zone run scheme, you need to have a really, really good offensive line coach. You need to have somebody who kind of is, has the expertise in that, right? You need that, because if you don't have that, right, the communication is going to be off on the offensive line, right? Because you are blocking areas, right? You're not blocking men. If you're blocking areas, then that means you have to communicate, right? The gelling of the offensive line has to be there. If too many guys block the same area, then that means another area is going to be unblocked, right? Pretty much. It's just very simple, basic math, right? This is what happens on this play. And when I paused it yesterday, I just had to shake my head. It really didn't make any sense. So we're gonna stop it here. Look at this. So zone blocking scheme, right? We got 4 guys here: Lindsley, Zion Johnson, Pipkins, McKitty. All 4 guys on 1-2 Chiefs, right? So obviously the numbers game is not, it's not there, right? There's going to be players unblocked, right? There's going to be guys coming from the secondary unblocked, linebacker Nick Bolton obviously unblocked. So look at this here, right? Now, when you look at this, and if you're Trey McKitty, what are you really doing here? How much help do they need, right? With Carlos Dunlap. I haven't seen Carlos Dunlap make a play. I watched more than a few Chiefs games. I think I've seen him make a play maybe a couple of times. But it was pretty much in the passing game. I don't really see him making plays in the run game. What are you doing here, though? You have one of the best linebackers in the league in Willie Gay, one-on-one with Richard Rodgers, right? What are you doing if you're McKitty? I'm trying to get this guy out of here. But let's pause now. Where are we at here? Again, the zone blocking scheme. 4 guys. You're blocking this area here. Now you left the tight end one-on-one with the linebacker, right? And that's not the Chargers, the way that they've been blocking, the way that the tight end position has been blocking this year. They should not as much. They should be getting as much help as they can get, right? If they are lined up on the same side, I want both tight ends, right, blocking one guy. I want them to help each other out because they're just not good enough one-on-one. They don't block like the Seahawks. Seahawks tight ends are ballers. They can get out there and they can block. They did it against us. Charger tight ends don't block that well. So when you look here and you see that this is one-on-one. Now, again, ball is not in Spiller's hands. These are the plays that I'm talking about. They really don't have any chance of working. Ball's not in Spiller's hands yet. Ball still in transition, right? It's in Herbert's left hand. He's going to put that in Spiller's gut. Now, when the ball does get in his gut, now what happens, right? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And Spiller, what did he run at the combine? 4.6, right? So he is not a speed guy. Not a speed guy by any stretch of the imagination. Spiller's a guy that sets up his blocks, right? So looking at this here, this whole mishmash of whatever the hell's going on in here, right? Everybody is in here, but you leave this tight end one-on-one with a linebacker. It's just not going to work. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Now you're out here and you have a guy unblocked as well too. So again, even if Richard Rodgers is able to hold this block a little longer, let's say he's able to hold this block a second longer, this guy's coming up. This guy's coming up. They have this defended again here, and Willie Gay, he is an inside linebacker, but he does a really good job here. Even though Rodgers engages him on the block, what does he do, right? This is the outside linebacker thing. This is what Khalil Mack is so good at. Engaged the block with his inside shoulder, kept his outside hand free. So even if Rodgers is getting him, right, even if he is blocking him, his outside hand is free. So he would be able to track him, right? Maybe not make a play, but he's going to slow him down. He's going to have to chop his feet, slow down, and hear his friends come, right? Help him. So again, you look at these plays, right? You look at what Kansas City does defensively, and they're decent defensively. They're not known as one of the best units in the league, right? They are decent defensively. They have a defense that really plays well when they have a lead, right? They can get ran on though. They can get burned. We've seen that, this season. They're not impervious, right? They don't have a super good defense, right? This is as best of a defense as they can get, paying Mahomes, paying Kelsey, right? This is as best of a defense as they can get, right? But they're a pretty good unit. They're just not one of the best, but still, they are playing this perfectly. They're playing this stuff perfectly, and I don't even really give them credit. This is a sign of bad play calling, right? This is all bad play calling here because we are running to where they are. We are running to where their free runners are. Why? It just doesn't make any sense. And this is the thing. That's why I say guard, center, guard. There's no free runners coming up in there because if your guard, center, guard are able to engage people right away, right? When the ball is snapped, there's not a free runner coming in there, right? Even if a guy is blitzing or whatever, he's still going to have to try to get around the line, right? You can set your blocks up, you can fall forward, you can gain 2 or 3 yards on that. This here, you can't. This is nothing but a loss. You can't do anything but lose yardage on these plays. Again, this doesn't work. Off tackle stuff doesn't work. Nobody's blocking anybody. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You leave your tight ends on an island to fail. These guys don't do this well. They don't block well. We know this. It's been 10 games. They don't block well. This type of stuff will lose you games. Again, and it doesn't matter. I see a lot of people like, oh, it's only one play. It's only one play. That's what they were saying last week, right? When I went over the jet sweep with DeAndre Carter and Bosa, right? Oh, it's only one play. That gets you behind the sticks. It gets you behind the sticks every single time. Every single time you get behind the sticks. And now when you get behind the sticks, now it is 100% on Justin Herbert to come and save you. This is why this coaching staff has shown that they don't know what they're doing. This is 27 games into the Staley Lombardi era. What is going on here? This is ridiculous. This is inexcusable. All of this stuff is inexcusable. When you look at a play like this, when you look at a play call like this, a lot of people want to bring up injuries, all of the injuries that the Chargers have and all of this stuff. A lot of people want to bring up, whatever other excuses they can. None of this has anything to do with injuries. None of this has anything to do with anything else besides Staley, besides Lombardi. It has nothing else to do with this. You do not call this stuff when it has not worked. You don't do it. And I know they have all of the technology advancements. They can go and watch their sweep plays. They can go and watch their outside zone plays. They can go and watch all of the stretch plays. They can go watch every single one of them that they ran this season. And when they look at those, right, if they were to do that and they were to look at all of those plays, you will see all of the negative plays that happened, right? All of the yards lost. Why would you call this? This is bad football. This is not detail-oriented football. This sucks. You cannot get past this. There's no quarterback good enough to get past this type of stuff, right? A lot of people taking shots at Herbert and all this stuff. There's no quarterback good enough to get away from this. Patrick Mahomes isn't good enough to get away from this. He is one of the most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen. Patrick Mahomes ain't good enough to get away from this. Brady ain't good enough to get away from any of this here. There's no quarterback that can get away from any of this. There's not one, not a single quarterback that can get away from this. What quarterback out there that's ever played the game can get away from this, right? Can have success despite of this, can win Super Bowls despite of this. You can't. You can't. How many plays? What is this? The fifth play that I've shown where the play's dead and the running back doesn't even fully have the ball secured? Because you can still see the ball right here. I wish I could zoom in, but you can still see the ball. It's still not secured, and this play's dead already. How many times are we going to see this? How many times have the Charger fans? How many times are we going to see this? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So as we go and play here, we see that this is a huge loss, right? This is a loss of at least 5-6 yards, whatever. Just not being blocked well. Just the play call, terrible. It just doesn't make sense. This type of stuff doesn't make sense. This is where the Chargers are at, and this is why people. I'm looking at, a lot of people are looking at the schedules and we got the Cardinals and they're not a good team and this is not a good team and all this stuff. It doesn't matter who you play. You're calling this shit right here. You are going to lose. You're going to lose games. You're going to lose games. It doesn't matter who you play. We could play the Lions all 7 games, right? They can schedule us for the Lions all 7 games. We'll lose running this type of stuff. You just don't do this. You just don't do this. It doesn't matter the opponent. You will lose. This is losing football. And this is losing football that has been starting at the top, right? This really doesn't have a whole lot to do with the players. It doesn't have a whole lot to do with injuries. This is losing football that starts at the top. This is at the top. And you just can't get past it. I'm sorry. You absolutely cannot get past it. You can't get past it. This sucks. You are going to be in a hole. There is no quarterback that's good enough to come out and have success when he is presented 2nd and 16, 2nd and 15, the way that the Chargers present Herbert 2nd and 15, 2nd and 16 on a consistent basis. on a consistent basis. It doesn't make any sense at all. It just doesn't make sense. We know this, man. We know this. We see what's going on. We see all of it. We see all of it. We see all of it. We're fans. We see this. They're coaches. They're every single day in the building. They have all of the resources, all the technology. They can get on the iPad and look at every single play that they ran and practice that same day. They can look at every single play that they ran in practice 2 weeks ago. They can look at every single play that they ran in the week 3 game. They have all the technology in the world. They just don't do it. This coaching staff is incompetent. When you run this type of stuff, it is incompetent. That's all. That's what I'm getting at here. This is incompetence of the highest level. And I'm sure there's other coaches who are probably laughing at this. So when you look at the schedule, right, and you think about playoffs and all of this stuff, it's not about the opponent. It really isn't about the opponent. These type of plays don't matter who the opponent is. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. It's just a fact. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. This is what happens when you have incompetent coaching and your coaches are not in a position to put your players in a position to succeed. That's just what it is. It is what it is. That's what's going on. Okay, so now I'm going to get to a few defensive plays before I get to the final play of the final offensive play by the Chiefs that pretty much won the game for them. So I want to get to some defensive stuff, and we'll see what's going on with that. So this first play here that I'm going to go over. Now I think I made a video. What was it? Maybe 3-4 weeks ago, whatever. I said that the Chargers are running the wrong defensive scheme, right? They're in the 3-4. Brandon Staley runs the great value version of Vic Fangio's defense. They're in a 3-4, and I don't think that they should be in a 3-4. I honestly don't. This is a 4-3 defense. It just doesn't. The pieces don't fit, right? The pieces don't fit. We've, again, 27 games now, and the Chargers are giving up more rushing yards this year than they did last year. They're giving up more yards per carry than they did last year by over a yard. Chargers are almost giving up 6 yards per carry. You don't have to throw the ball in the Chargers. That's how bad this defense is. You don't have to throw the ball. You can, every 2 runs, you're going to pick up a first down, right? That's what the stats say. This is what it is. This is who they are on defense. So this is a play that I want to get to here. We'll start off with the wide angle first. Now, when you look at this, right, you look at Kansas City, they are in, looks like they're in a formation where they're going to run something a little screwy, right? They when Travis Kelce comes in motion like this, it's normally going to be something where he's dashing over the middle or he's dashing outside. It's like something quick, right? They run these little quick formations. They run a lot of the stuff at the goal line too. And if you're not disciplined and your eyes are not in the right place, you obviously can get beat, right? But this is not what's going on. This is a run. This is a run. And Andy Reid, right, in the second half, this is when he got, really, really in his bag and said, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the rock all the way down the field. And that's what they did on this drive. And the Chargers could not stop it at all. So, again, this is why I say the Chargers are in the wrong defensive alignment, right? So you come out, you have these 2 linemen in here, right? Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, Khalil Mack, and then you have Van Noy, right? So they lined up in 4 defensive linemen, and the Chargers pretty much played nickel all game long. Bryce Callahan was on the field all game long, right? There really wasn't any base 3-4 defense coming out, right? So the Chargers stayed in this all game long. Now, it seems to me that Brandon Staley was willing to give up a bunch of rushing yards. It seems like he was willing to give up the run because when you look at the splits here, how can you stop anything, right? When you look at this, run this guy out of here. How can you stop anything? How can you stop the run here when these splits are so damn big? How can you do it, right? And this is something I went over the Seattle game, I believe. These splits are big, right? But the splits were really huge, even in the base defense. But how are you going to stop it? There's no, and Staley talks about gap integrity all the time. How are you supposed to gap this so much? Like how? And this is all on Sebastian Joseph Day. Now, he played really, really well on Sunday. But again, this is asking a lot of guys. You're asking way too much of guys because Khalil Mack here, right? This play is going to go to this side. Khalil Mack, he must maintain the edge, right? So he's going to rush upfield and he's going to keep the edge, right? When that happens, Sebastian Joseph Day has to long Tom, right? He has to get all the way over here to make a play, all the way over here to make a play, right? And to even be in the vicinity to make a play after he's already gained 5-6 yards or whatever, right? He has to get all the way over here. This is asking a lot. It's asking a lot of a huge guy. What is he? 6'3", 315. That's asking a lot, man. It really is. It's asking a lot. This is why I think if you run a 4-3, right, these splits here are not going to be as tight. If you run a traditional 4-3, the splits are not going to be as tight, and you're going to be able to maintain gaps, right? The four down linemen are going to be able to maintain their gaps without really a lot of help, right? And then if they're able to maintain their gaps, and that's when the linebackers are able to come downhill and clean up. But they're not able to do that in this defense. And I just don't understand why Staley was so ready and willing to give up so many rushing yards on Sunday. It doesn't make any sense because out here you have, and the Chiefs, they came into this game -2 wide receivers, right? Juju, concussion, McCole Hardman, IR, and then they lost Kadarius Toney in the first half. So this guy right here is the only one that can kill you. This is the only dude that can kill you. MVS, he's so-so. Sky Moore, we don't even really know if he's going to be good, right? He only had 7 catches coming into this game. And then here, Justin Watson, right? I don't know who that is. So none of these guys are household names, right? Watson, Sky Moore, none of them are household names. This is the only guy that can kill you. And he obviously did, right? The Chargers let that happen again. Second consecutive season in a row at home against the Chiefs. They let this guy kill us. And this is the only guy that can kill you, though. Why are you not trying to stop the run, right? Why are you not trying to stop the run and double this guy, right? If these guys get open, if they get down the field and they get open, if they make, crazy tight window catches and all of that stuff, good for them, right? Good for them. This guy's not going to beat me, though. If Sky Moore beats me, hey, I'll go over and shake his hand. Great game, right? Great game, young man, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But we're not letting this guy kill us right here because this guy right here is getting a gold jacket. They already getting it ready for him. He's getting a gold jacket. The second he retires, he is getting a gold jacket. This is a first ballot Hall of Famer right here. He's the best tight end in the league. This guy can kill us. So if you're not laser focused on this guy, what are you laser focused on? What exactly are you going to stop? What did Brandon Staley stop this game, right? He didn't stop the run, obviously. Didn't stop this guy. Six catches, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. What did the Chargers stop? What did they do to slow down the Chiefs offensively on Sunday? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. What did they do to slow down the Chiefs? What did they do? What did they do? Who did they take out? They didn't take out anything. They didn't take out anything. They did not take out anything. Apex Prowler. Yeah. Staley's, the defensive tackles are not 2 gap guys. Exactly. Been saying that. Yeah, and I've seen your comments, and I talked about it in the Seahawks game. They're not 2 gap guys. They're not 2 gap guys. And this is not a traditional 3-4 personnel type of defense either. We've all known. Well, I mean, most of us have been Charger fans for a long time. We've seen the 3-4 defense with Wade Phillips, right? Nose tackle, right? Jamal Williams, one of the best nose tackles I think of all time, right? He is underrated, right? Big dude, right? But this is what he did. He ate up blocks, and he was able to let the 3 techniques make plays, right? But you get into this defense here, I don't know what they're doing. I honestly don't know what they're doing. I don't know. Again, I think Staley was willing to give up rushing yards, which is fine if you're going to shut down Travis Kelce, right? If you're going to shut down Travis Kelce, give up as many rushing yards as you want, fine. I get that, right? You have to give some to get some. I get that. I could understand that. That's not what happened, though. That's just not what happened. That's just not what happened. It's to me, it's ridiculous. So we're going to go over this play right now real quick. One play, KC had their tight ends on one side and just overpowered us on blocking with the tight end. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Chargers can't get off blocks either. And that's one of the main reasons why you don't run a 3-4. If you don't have guys that can shed blocks, you can't run a 3-4. And we've seen this with Kenneth Murray in the middle too. He doesn't get off blocks. You can't run a 3-4. You can't run a 3-4 if you do not get off blocks because the splits are going to be much wider. You're going to have your defensive ends. They're going to have to be 3 techniques, and they're going to have to deal with double teams all game long, right? This is something that we talked about Jerry Tillery, he wasn't good at. They're not dealing with double teams, then you're going to have wide open running lanes. And if your linebackers don't come up and support the run, you're going to give up a lot of yards every single carry. And that's exactly what's going on. The game plan was to let 87 run wild. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. I mean, yeah, like there. That's what I'm trying to say. What was the game plan? What was there? Really was no game plan at all. Because if you're going to give up rushing yards, you have to stop Travis Kelce. That just has to be something. You can't let both things kill you. If you let both things kill you, you really have no chance to win. Again, Justin Herbert is much better than everybody gives him credit for the Chargers to even be in the position to even possibly win this game. He deserves a lot of credit. We see bad offensive play calls, but Herbert makes the most out of what he has, right? To even be in this game, it was a miracle because this was a terribly coached game. And when you look at this, you can tell what were the Chargers trying to do? What were they trying to stop defensively? Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing at all. See, I'm not good with X and O's, but even I can see the issue with spacing on the D line. 100%. It's just bad. It's just bad all the way around. And teams are looking at it. We're the easy team on everybody else's schedule. I don't know if all Charger fans know this, but we're the easy team on everybody else's schedule. Give up rushing yards and lock down the red zone, which the Chargers bite at. Yeah. They didn't do any of that, though. And to me, it doesn't even look like they were trying. It just doesn't make any sense. Larry says, yeah, Staley's defense is supposed to be a hybrid, but we don't have the players for it. Yeah, it looks like his defense invites them to run the ball, but can't make no stops. Yeah, and we don't have the players for it. We don't have the players for it. We don't have the personnel for it, but Staley doesn't have the defensive mind that a Vic Fangio has, that a Bill Belichick has, because these are essentially the same defenses, right? The base is a 3-4, but it is multiple, right? You can come out, you can give 4-3 looks as well too. This is what Belichick does so well, right? Depending on who the opponent is, you go out and game plan, right? You do some advanced game planning depending on who your opponent is. If you have a team that runs the ball really well, you give some 4-3 looks. You tighten up those gaps a little more. But if you're facing a team like the Chiefs, right? Then if you look at a Belichick game plan, right, it is a traditional 3-4. You are trying to bring pressure off the edges and stuff like that, because you are able to maintain some gap integrity with your guys, with just your guys in there. So Staley doesn't have the defensive mind that these guys have. This is just the same scheme, right? And you can run the scheme. This scheme has been around for a long time. Many teams have run it. Some have run it really great. Most of them have not run it really great. But this scheme has been around for as long as, the NFL has been around pretty much. So you can run this stuff. You can run as much Vic Fangio scheme. You can run as much Bill Belichick scheme as you want. But if you don't have those minds, if you don't have that type of mind, if you're not able to adjust, your defense is going to give up a lot. And that's just what was going on. That's honestly what was going on. Thoughts on Troy Reader coming to the game? I thought he played pretty well. He forced that fumble. He's a good backup. He definitely is a good backup. I think he's capable of starting too. And I think he tackles better than Kenneth Murray. I think he gets off blocks better than Kenneth Murray. So I have no issues with him being in the game. The one person that you have to pay extra attention to is 87 and did whatever to you. Yeah, 100%. In my opinion, Brandon lost this game. Him and his defense. Yes, 100%. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna get to this play here, right? So I got on my soapbox there a little bit, but we're gonna see this play here, right? I'm gonna play it, and we're gonna see what they're asking of Sebastian Joseph-Day, right? So see it here. Now, Khalil Mack is upfield. This is where he should be. He's upfield. This is where he should be. He is a pro at this, right? He's a pro at keeping the edge. That's what he does very, very well, right? So you look at Sebastian Joseph-Day, and we'll let it play here, and then we'll look at it from the other angle. There's just there really is no explanation for this, right? So you look here, right? You look at Joseph-Day. He's here. He's set up with Trey Smith, the guard. Now, as you let it play, again, you have Khalil Mack rushing up here on the outside. That's where he should be. But Joseph-Day, you're asking Joseph-Day to get all the way out here, right? And he's actively engaged with Trey Smith. Pacheco, very fast, right? He's a 4-3 guy. He took Clyde Edwards-Helaire's spot. This is what he does. He's fast, and you open up lanes like this, he is going to go through them very, very fast. So again, this lane is opened up. You can drive a golf cart through here. That's how far this has opened up. And then Troy Reader is not, he's not Willie Gay. He's not Nick Bolton. He's not a guy that is going to close the gap very quickly like those guys do, right? So you look here and bam, hat on a hat. And again, you can drive a golf cart through here. It's bad defensive play calling. There's no chance. There's honestly no chance. And then you're asking Sebastian Day, right? Big guy. He's athletic for his size, but again, 6'3", 315 or whatever. You're asking him to go out here and catch this 4-3 running back. It just doesn't make any sense. So again, this gap is still open. This gap is still wide. This gap has not closed. This gap is still as wide. It got wider actually from when Mahomes was doing the transfer. It got wider. So you have no chance. It's running through there, and if Tranquil doesn't make that play, he goes one-on-one with Adderley, right? Maybe he drags him for a few more yards, but that's a 10-yard pickup on that play. Easy, very easy. Now, I think I have the next play right after it. Was it? Yeah. So it's the next play. We're gonna look at the next play. So the Chargers pretty much doing the same exact thing here. Kansas City is in a different formation though. They have two tight ends here, but Chargers are doing the same thing except they switch Joseph Day and Morgan Fox. Now, this play is not as bad. It doesn't look as bad as the previous play. It doesn't look as bad as the previous play, but it is the same thing because, again, Khalil Mack has to maintain. He has to maintain the edge. He has to maintain the edge. I know that, and I can imagine him I can just imagine being in his shoes, right? Knowing that you're getting gashed, right, in this gap right here. Every single game, you're getting gashed in this gap. Man, I mean, his discipline really is on another level, right? Because he is maintaining the integrity of the edge, right? His discipline is on another gap. Because if I was him, I would just want to just shoot this gap and stop it, right? And then hope that maybe Michael Davis or whoever else is playing corner can come up and help support the run. I would just want to shoot this gap and stop it right away. But he does maintains his discipline, and he always maintains the edge. That's one thing you have to give him credit for. But when you are in a front like this, there's nothing that Khalil Mack can do, right? With all his powers, there's nothing that he can do. But even this play here, right? This play is still going to go for a good game. But Morgan Fox is not as big. He's not as big as Sebastian Joseph Day. He's a little quicker and he's a little more twitchier. So he's able to make this play, but it's still pretty much the same thing, right? So you look at it, still the same thing, but Morgan Fox is able to disengage and still make the play. It's still a gain of 7-8 yards, but he's able to get off, right? So they're in a heavy formation here, right? In a heavy formation. They got 3 tight ends. They're in 13 personnel. They're able to run the ball. And this is what I said in the video that I did leading up to the game, the preview video. The Chiefs were ranked 21st in the run game, but I had seen them. They're starting to get a little better in the run game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire lost his job to Isaiah Pacheco, rightfully so. Pacheco was running hard. He was running hard, and he's fast. If he gets a lane, he can shoot it. He can shoot the gap very, very, very fast, and he can be downfield, right? Gain 15, 20 yards right before you even know it. The Chiefs are able to run the ball, and this is why I said this is the best team. The Chiefs are the best team in the league now because we already know what Patrick Mahomes can do. We already know all of that stuff. But this is without all of their weapons. Travis Kelce is the only guy that they had. He was the only guy that they had really who can do anything offensively, right, to affect the game, right, from a skill position standpoint. Andy Reid came out and decided, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. And this is why I juxtapose like a lot of things the Chargers do to the Chiefs because as good as this guy is, right, as good as 15 is, Andy Reid did not say, "Hey, let's just drop back 50 times and you throw 5 touchdowns and win us a game." That's not what Andy Reid told Mahomes. They give him support. Oh, okay. We're gonna go run the ball. We're gonna run the ball. So all I need you to do 15 is hand this ball off, and we're gonna get 8, 9 yards. We're gonna pick up chunks on the ground, right? We're gonna run for 165 yards against this sorry ass defense. That's how we're gonna support you, right? The Chargers. Do the Chargers ever tell Justin Herbert, we're going to support you? We're going to hand the ball off. We're going to support you? No, that is not what they do. That's not what they do. That's not what they do. It's always up to Justin Herbert to go out and win the game. Always. It's just it doesn't make any sense, man. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm out here like I'm when you watch this tape, and I encourage everybody to get into X and O's. This shit is fun. I love it. It really is fun. Pay for the NFL Plus. I think it's like $9.99 a month. You get access to game tape, all 22 film like this. You can see, right? There's narratives that happen in the media and all of this stuff. And this is why I love football. This is why I love sports so much, because there's no narrative when people were talking about the injuries and all of this stuff. This is what I was looking at. I'm looking at what's going on here on the field. Oh, there's injuries and there's this and there's that and there's all these excuses. I'm looking at what's going on the field, right? Injuries ain't got shit to do with what's out here right now. These guys are in positions to where they can't make plays because they are not in a position to make a play. And injuries have nothing to do with that, right? Even if these guys were fully healthy and all this stuff, they're still not in positions to make this play. Still not. Right? Even if Austin Johnson is, let's say he's healthy, right? Is he in a position right here to make this play? Can he get off this block and go chase down Isaiah Pacheco 4.3 speed? Probably not. Can Otito, if he wasn't injured, can he get off this block and go chase it? Probably not. These guys are just not in position to make plays. This gap is open. Khalil Mack going upfield. This is open. This is why I say the Chargers cannot lose any more games. They're going to have to win out to make the playoffs. If they lose any more games, it's done. If they lose to Arizona this Sunday, they're done. They're done. This is why I don't schedule watch. This is why none of that shit matters. I don't know who the Patriots play. I don't know who the Bengals play. I don't know who the Jets play. And honestly, it doesn't matter, because this right here, all that matters is who we play. And everybody can get right against us with this. Arizona can get right with us. We come out with this shit against Arizona, they getting right against us. Kyler Murray is going to be up here quickly. He's going to be up here quickly, sliding, right? He's going to be getting 10, 12 yards and sliding. This is just bad stuff. This is just bad stuff. It's bad stuff, and there's no way around it. You cannot get around it. So, again, let's get to this play here, right? You're going to see what Morgan Fox does. He does a much better job than Sebastian Joseph Day, but it's just the size difference. Morgan Fox is not as big as Sebastian Joseph Day. So Morgan Fox has some versatility, right? He can play on the end as well. So I think he played a lot of defensive end for Staley when he was the coordinator with the Rams. So Fox can move inside and out. So he has the ability to make these type of plays. But again, let me bring it back. Again, this is not something that you want to ask this guy to be doing all game long. I'm sorry, you just don't. So let's run it here. Snaps the ball, right? Hat on hat. What do you notice? Everybody's being blocked. And if Fox doesn't make this play, this might be a touchdown. So when you look at this defensively, what is going on? How has Staley made this defense better? This defense is considerably worse than what it was even last year, right? This defense is considerably worse from last year with more money, right? More talent on the defensive line. There's more talent, everywhere, right? Bryce Callahan, J.C. Jackson before the injury, right? There's more talent, but this defense is much, much, much worse. There's no gap integrity here at all. And again, if Morgan Fox doesn't make this play, if they didn't switch places, if Fox and Joseph Day didn't switch, this is a touchdown. Because who's catching him with a full head of speed, right? Pacheco with the full head of speed. Derwin James not catching them because he's already engaged in the block. So with the full head of speed, he's got to start from zero while he's going at 20 miles an hour. Nobody's catching him. So Morgan Fox doesn't make this play. It's probably a touchdown. So see here, look, and he's able to make the play. But again, it's just not good football. And that's why Pacheco was so energized. You got this. You got this. You got these lanes. You're getting so many yards, right? You're getting so many yards. He's getting pumped up. His family watching him or whatever. Like, this guy's a 7th round pick. But again, the Chargers don't do anything to stop anybody. The run game is always going to be, as long as Brandon Staley is the coach, the run game is going to be, the defensive run game is going to be something that teams exploit us by. And a team like San Francisco, that's why I was surprised San Francisco passed the ball as much as they did. I thought that Kyle Shanahan would go with one of those game plans where Jimmy Garoppolo throws the ball like 10 times. Honestly, that's what I thought would happen, but it didn't happen. And their unwillingness to run the ball as much as they should was the reason why the game was so close. I know a lot of Charger fans are like, oh, the Chargers kept the game so close, but they didn't run the ball as much as they should have. They should have run the ball more against us. If they ran the ball more against us, they would have won by at least a touchdown, and the game wouldn't have looked as close as it did, right? The final score. But this is it's bad football. And it doesn't matter who's on the schedule. It doesn't matter who you look at. Doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Home, away. This is all bad football. None of this, all the other shit doesn't matter. Bad football. You can't win like this. You can't win Super Bowls like this. You can't get to the playoffs like this. This is why I say this is the wrong scheme. The Chargers are in the wrong scheme. And the only way that the Chargers have been stopping the run game is when Brandon Staley brings out the 6-1, right? When there's 6 defensive linemen down there. And that's really the only way. That's honestly the only way that they can stop the run game. And so let's fast forward to that, because this was the only time that I seen the Chargers do it. And it was down at the goal line. It is, let's see, 44. So we are here. Yeah, no, it's not this play. It's going to be, not this play. It's going to be the next play. So it's not that play, but this play here, right? This is the only time the Chargers are able to stop the run game, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 here, right? So obviously the gap integrity is there. And you have Van Noy and you have Khalil Mack on the outside, right? So covering up gaps here. When the Chargers pulled this out against Atlanta, it worked pretty well. It worked well when they did it against the Niners last week as well, too. And it worked well here, too, right? This is the only way the Chargers are going to be able to stop the run going forward this season, is when they pull out this 6-1. Now, I like this, but there's no way that you can do this all game long, right? There's too many guys up here. There's only one linebacker. So now you have a weakness. You have a vulnerability in the secondary, right? Which these guys, Nasir Adderley is already vulnerable in the secondary as it is. We're going to get to that. And so now you can be passed on, right? Because now you only have 1, 2, 3, 4 secondary guys out there with the linebacker, right? So you have a chance to, really, really get burned, right? As far as the passing game goes. Now, I think this is a better alignment, right? When teams are in the red zone, or even if they're at the 30 or whatever, this is a much better alignment, because you can still go too high, right? Too high, and kind of a cover 2 or maybe a cover 4 with the linebacker here patrolling the middle, but there's still minimal coverage. So I do like this alignment. I do like this front. The closer a team is to the goal line, I do like it here. But you will see here that this is a much, much, much more effective run front than anything the Chargers were doing previously, right? We've seen what the splits look like. This is a much, much better run front. This goes to my bigger point, is that the Chargers need to get back to a 4-3, symbolize things a little more. Now, obviously, if you're in a 4-3, you're not going to be as tight up here, right? But you are not going to have these gaps right here. These type of gaps are not going to exist in a 4-3, right? Alignment is going to be there. You're going to be able to close up gaps with just your 4 defensive line. So let's run this play and let's see what happens here on this. So you get here, and then now you see that the Chargers they're much more effective against the run this way. And again, Morgan Fox here. Morgan Fox is the guy that makes play. This is the guy out of all the guys who are playing right now. This is who I want back. I think the Chargers need to sign him. He is very good. He has a lot of versatility. He can play inside, outside, and because he is a little smaller, he's not as big as Joseph Day. He's not as big as Fehoko. He is able to get in the backfield, right? He's able to get behind some of these tackles, some of these guards. He's able to shoot these gaps here because you see Wiley can't even get a hand on him. This play is going to be dead before the play even happens, right? Kind of like what was happening to us almost all game long. But you look at that here, and transfer is still happening. Fox is already in the backfield. But even if Fox doesn't get in the backfield, you see here, look at Fehoko. He beat his man here. You look at Gaziano. He is pushing his man in the backfield here. There's nothing going on here. Nothing going on here. Nothing going on here at all. If Derwin James come up and fill here, there's really nothing going on. There's nowhere for the back to go. So this is a much more effective run front. Only thing is you can only pull this out every now and then. You can't do this, really every series. You're going to get gashed in the passing game if you do that. But they need to be very strategic when they pull this out. Whenever they need to stop, whenever they want to start a first down series, right? Maybe by getting a stop on the ground or whatever, they need to pull this out. There's no way that the Chargers should only be running this one time in the game, especially the way the Chiefs were running the ball. You had to pull this out. You had to pull this out a little more, especially with Travis Kelce being the only guy who can beat you. You had to pull this out a little more. I expected to see this a little more once the Chiefs were running the ball better, but hey, it is what it is. But you look at this play, they get to stop. Look at how many guys are in the backfield. Look at what's going on for the Chargers here. They were not able to block that. Even if Fox doesn't make the play, Gaziano's going to make it. Fajoko's going to make it. Van Noy's coming around the edge. They're all going to make the play on this. So this is a much better run front. But it goes into my bigger point. They should go back to a 4-3. There's no reason why they should be in a 3-4. They should be in a 4-3. They should be in a 4-3 because, again, this is not going to be as tight here. We know that it's not going to be as tight, but these holes are not going to be as big. They're going to close up. They're going to close up, and you're going to be able to stop. You're going to be able to stop some guys in the running game, right? If teams are picking up 7-8 yards against you, you're going to be able to cut that in half, right? At least 3-4 yard gains. You're going to be able to cut that in half. You're going to give yourself a chance to at least get off the field on third down, which is something the Chargers don't do well. Chargers are 26th in the league in getting off the field. So on third down. So they are not good at third down. They are giving up like almost 45% conversion rate on third down. And it's because teams are able to run the ball so much. So come on, man. You have to pull this out strategically. We know we can't do it every time, but we wouldn't have to pull this out if we just went back to 4-down linemen. 4-down linemen, and you can even stay in the nickel if you want to, because you can bring Derwin James down in the box to play as a linebacker, right? So you can have Murray, Tranquil, and you can have Derwin James, and he can play as a linebacker because he can shed blocks and he can tackle. So you can do a lot in a 4-3. I think the 4-3 suits us much better. It suits the Chargers much better than this current defense right now, because this is a kind of a gimmicky defense here. You have to pull this out when you can't stop the run. This is gimmicky. This is high school football type of stuff, and it still works. It works across all levels, right? I'm not saying I'm not shitting on it, but this is the type of gimmicks that you have to pull out. This is going to your toolbox when you can't stop it. You can't stop the run. There's nothing else you can do. This is like last gas type of stuff right here. This is this type of defense. This is last gas type of stuff. This should not be happening. You should be able to stop it out of your base defense. And our base defense, the gaps are way too wide. They do not get closed. The gaps stay open all the damn time. So they need to go to a traditional four-down set, and I think they'll have much more success. Much more success. But Staley is tied to his ego, so I don't think that will happen. So let's watch it again, and again, accidentally went forward. So we'll watch it again, and I'll pause it so everybody can see what's going on. Bam, bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got James coming in as well too. Tranquil coming in. Nowhere for this guy to go. He's bottled up. Absolutely nowhere for him to go. This is what happens when you close the gaps, and it's very, very simple. I don't know why the Chargers don't do this, but it is. It's very simple, extremely simple, and that was the best run stop the Chargers had all game long. So again, that's why I'm saying the Chargers, they need to simplify this, simplify it, make it very, very simple. 4-3, go to a 4-3. If Brandon Staley was to go to a 4-3, right? And there's ample opportunity to, right? He wouldn't even have to explain this out to anybody. Oh, we have injuries. We're just going to go to a 4-3. We're going to simplify. The Chargers would stop. They would start stopping the run, right? Defense would look better. They would be able to get off the field on third downs more. Derwin James would be much more effective, right? Because you can move him down as a linebacker, right? And then even if you want to get creative and all that stuff, you can move him down as a defensive lineman, right? Outside linebacker. He can stand up. He can take running backs one-on-one when they vacate the backfield and go out for their routes. He can do a lot in a 4-3 defense. Now, will Staley do that? No, he won't do that. He's tied to his ego, and this is what the Chargers are going to suffer because of it. So what I wanted to go over now was the game, pretty much the game-losing play that the Chargers allowed, that they gave up to Travis Kelce, right? The only guy who was capable of killing the Chargers. So this is what I wanted to go over. So let's see where it's at. I didn't mark that play, but let's see. So it's not here. We're gonna have to fast forward a little more. See, it's getting closer. I think. No. No. I think it might be the next one or the following. Yeah, no. I think it might be this next play here. Yes. Okay, so here it is. So this is the game-losing play. So let's go over this and let's see what this defense was looking like on this game-losing play. Okay, let me get some of these comments here. Casey just outcoached us. They know our weaknesses and know how to execute their game plan on the field way better than we do. 100%. Andy Reid, obviously, it's not even it's not even close when it comes to Brandon Staley. He ran circles around him, obviously, just like he always does. The only time that we beat this Chiefs team, week 2 of last year, and that was due to him being really aggressive going forward on fourth downs. That's how we beat them. But yes, as far as coaching goes and scheme and all that stuff, Andy Reid runs circles around Brandon Staley. There's no other explanation for that. He's just good. So, okay, Optimist Ron, thank you so much. You earned a new subscriber. Thank you so much, man. Really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Shout out, Larry. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Try my best, man. I try my best to be as objective as I can, but as I always say, tape don't lie. That's why I want to come on here, and when you guys see the opinions that I have on some of the videos that I make, this is where it comes from. I'm watching this. I'm not listening to people on ESPN. I'm not listening to talking heads. I'm watching this here. I'm watching the tape. And notice that when you watch a game tape, there is no announcers. Collinsworth is not here. Mike Tirico is not here. Nobody has any opinions on this. This is just the play on the field. There's nothing going on that is narrative based. All of this is stuff that I'm watching. So I'm not watching this looking at narratives or whatever or confirmation bias. I'm watching this just as an objective. I'm a Charger fan, but I'm still objective, right? I get on my team, more than anybody, right? So I'm watching this as an objective watcher of football, and I'm looking at this, and I'm not looking at narratives. I'm not looking at who I think sucks. I'm not looking at a guy that had a bad game last week. I'm just watching what happens. I'm just taking this in as what happens, and if good things happen, I can say that it happens. If things don't happen, good things don't happen, I can say good things don't happen, and that's pretty much what's going on here. It's just bad football. Honestly, just bad football. So let's get to this play here. So before we even start here, so we can look at. So now we have Sky. I think Sky Moore, Valdez Scantling, Justin Watson. Right. Again, these three guys who are not household names, right? These guys are they're just guys, right? They're Jags, just a guy. That's who these guys are here. This guy here is, again, the guy who can beat us, the guy who can beat us. So when you look at this defense being called, right, it looks like it's a cover two, but it's not a cover two, right? So we're going to see that coming up. So we see Derwin James here. Derwin James has come down. He has walked down, and he is playing Travis Kelce, right? He's playing him one-on-one. Now, initially, when I watched the film, I thought that Kelce was just going to be covered one-on-one, right? There was something that I missed, right? And again, I'm not a professional at this, but it was something that I missed. And watching this play over and over again, I can see that this is Nasir Adderley right here, right? So he is already, before the play has already even happened, right? You look at the stances, right? JT Woods is backing up, and Nasir Adderley is in the robber, right? So it looks like a cover two, but what this is a cover one, right? It's cover one. This is a robber here. So this is the position that Derwin James normally plays. So they brought in JT Woods here. So you have two safeties, and you walked up Derwin James to play Kelce one-on-one. Now, the way that this play plays out, right? Nasir Adderley is supposed to be here, right? As Kelce gets into his break, they should meet here. They should be colliding, right? They should be colliding, kind of like cars coming from the same or coming from opposite areas, right? They should be meeting right here. But you see Adderley, right? He's playing this robber coverage. He doesn't get there. And what he does, he pays attention to right here, Mr. No Name, Justin Watson, right? He pays attention to him, overreacts to the route that he is going to be running here. So let's run it here, right? I'm pausing it here. Adderley, remember when he was lined up here? So this is a crossing route that they're running, right? They're running a natural pick play. So this is something that the Chiefs run all the time. This is not the first time the Chiefs ran it this game. They run this stuff all the time. They run these rub routes to create space. And that's what you're supposed to do when you run crossing routes, right? These are man-beating routes. So this is man coverage. But look at how far Derwin James has separated from Travis Kelce, right? So they don't need this. They run it, but they don't even really need this, right? Let's say he was up here, right? Kelce still has won this route already. He's already won this route. But because Nasir Adderley was in robber, right? What is he supposed to be doing? He is supposed to be down here. He's supposed to be here. They should meet. Kelce should run here hard. Adderley should run here hard and meet here. But when you look at this here, what does this look like, right? This is a cover one robber. What the hell is going on here? How does this happen, right? How does this happen? JT Woods is the deep safety. So he is looking at this route, right? If this guy's open and he's coming here, JT Woods has to meet him here, right? So this is covered. This is covered. These guys are man-to-man, right? These guys are on the island. They're man-to-man. Okay, we get it. We understand. But when you look at it, what does this look like? This looks like a punt coverage here, a punt return. This looks like a college punt return when they put one guy here who's kind of the up man, and then they have the actual deep returner. How does this happen? What is he doing? What is he protecting against? What is Nasir Adderley protecting against? And again, here he is, flat-footed. He's flat-footed. He's standing here waiting for this. Don't know why. I don't think Mahomes is going to throw to Watson in double coverage. I don't think he's going to do that. Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks that we have ever seen. And he does all of the stuff after the play breaks down and all of that stuff. But give Patrick Mahomes credit as a guy that doesn't turn the ball over, right? Give him credit as a guy that doesn't turn the ball over. Patrick Mahomes doesn't make these throws. He doesn't make these throws. He does not make these throws. Mahomes does not make these throws. Mahomes is not who he is because he's throwing into double coverage. He's throwing into double coverage with Watson running here into JT Woods. He's not going to do that. We understand that he's not going to do that. I understand that he's not going to do that. Nasir Adderley should understand that he's not going to do that. And again, who is the guy that is going to beat you? Travis Kelce is going to beat you here, right? So as we run it, we see here, catches it, bam. Where's Adderley? He's in the robber position, and he started on this side of the field. How does he make it over here? How does he make it over here? He is on the left hash. He started out on the left hash, and he ended up on the right hash, and now he ends up here. Now, the ball has already been caught. MVS knows this. That's why he starts blocking, right? He knows that he's not going to get the ball. You can kind of tell the way that he was running his route too, that he knew he wasn't going to get the ball. So now he starts blocking. Now, straight to the end zone. Now, all you have here is Asante Samuel Jr., and he's the only guy left to make a tackle against Travis Kelce, and that's not going to work out. It's just bad, just bad. Absolutely bad all the way around. And you look at it, you finish the play, and they're it's just bad. It's just bad football. Now, even here, right, when I initially I thought that this was just a cover two, like a man under, right? Man under, you man, and then you have two cover two safeties that are helping out, right? You have a guy here that is shading here, and you have a guy here that is kind of shading any action that's going on here. Right. So that's what I initially thought that this was. But when you look at it, right, when you look at the alignment and you look at how Derwin James is lining up, I knew that Derwin James is expecting help because he lined up, and this is not a good angle where you can see it now. But when you see him now, he's lined up on the outside shoulder, right? So he's playing man coverage on the outside shoulder. Now, he absolutely does not get a reroute here. Again, and I think this is something that a well-seasoned defensive coach, a Bill Belichick, anybody else with a great defensive mind, a Vic Fangio, right? You're going to get a reroute here, right? And we're going to get a reroute by hell or hot water. And if Derwin James can't get it, I want Khalil Mack to step up and step in his way, right? I want him to push him off his route, because if Khalil Mack does that, this play doesn't happen the way that it happens, right? I mean, possibly it could have, but at least you give Derwin James a chance to cover in man-to-man where he's at right now. So I'm going to let it play through, right? So he gets off the line. No jam at all. No, nothing. He didn't get touched. It's pitch and catch, right? This is practice stuff. It's not hard. This is not hard. Nobody ever makes it hard for Travis Kelce, right? So this is a much better angle here. So when you see Derwin James, he's lining up here on the outside. He is lined up on the outside shoulder here. So what Travis Kelce does, right? Run across the middle of the field. He's already giving you the middle of the field. He's giving you the middle of the field. And remember, like I talked about Nasir Adderley, he's all the way here on the left hash, right past the left hash. When we let the play run, right? We let the play run. This is a second-round draft pick. He steps up. Look at where he's at where the ball is being thrown. He started here on the left hash. Now he's here by the right hash. What the hell is he doing? Is he reacting to this? He shouldn't be reacting to this because JT Woods is here. What is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing? This is terrible football. Terrible. And look at where the ball's at. Dead in the water now. How if Nasir Adderley did not move a damn muscle and stayed here, he would have had a chance to at least get Travis Kelce down, possibly at the 10-yard line, right? Maybe 7, 8, whatever. But he at least has a chance to make a tackle. Didn't make a tackle. Gone. What's going on here? It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. Now, let me go back to this angle here, right? And this is what I argued. I argued with somebody on Twitter about it. Nasir Adderley has blown some coverages this year. So if I am Derwin James, right? If I'm Derwin James and I'm coming up here, I'm coming up to guard Travis Kelce. I don't care what Staley says. I don't care what play is being called, but I'm shading the inside shoulder of Travis Kelce. I'm not shading the outside shoulder. I'm shading the inside shoulder, because if I shade the inside shoulder, and Mahomes and Kelce, they are on the same page most of the time, right? They have really good chemistry. Maybe he tries to continue running the route. Maybe he tries, or maybe he just tries to say, hey, I'm going to run an out route, right? And I didn't go over the play earlier, but there was an exact play, right? I think it was in the first half. The same exact play, almost the same exact alignment, almost the same exact formation, but Travis Kelce ran an out route against Derwin James that was incomplete because Derwin James shaded the inside shoulder. He dared him to run the out route. He did, and Mahomes wasn't able to complete it because Derwin James was able to pretty much stay with him step for step, right? That happened in the first half. So this play almost happened exactly, right? If Derwin James takes the inside shoulder, if he takes the inside shoulder away, he's not able to get across the field like that. He's not able to get across the field. Derwin James is going to be there step for step. And this is a much, much harder throw for Mahomes to make. And I don't think Mahomes does. I don't think he tries to fit a tight window throw in with him, being down, right? They have to win the game. And, I think either maybe he runs it himself or he throws the ball away. He does something other than throw it to Kelce, right? They do something other than score, right? They come back and they fight another down. But since he lined up here, since he took the outside shoulder, all Kelce had to do was just run across the field. That's it. Just a drag across the field. And then even with Derwin James too, I question Brandon Staley calling this defense, right? Derwin James, they ask him to do too much. And this is my personal opinion. Every time I watch the tape, every time I watch it, every single Tuesday, right? They ask him to do a lot. Derwin James lines up here where Van Noy is. He lines up here where Callahan is. He lines up here as a linebacker. He lines up as a deep safety. He does everything. So to ask him to do this, to come up and to shadow Travis Kelce one-on-one, right? That's hard to do. Travis Kelce has been cooking. He has been cooking the league's best DBs for the past 5 years. That's why I said he is a gold jacket. He is about to get a gold jacket. He is going to be a Hall of Famer, a first ballot Hall of Famer. Absolutely. No doubt about it. So to ask your safety, right? Derwin James, what is he, 6'2", 220, to ask him to come down here to cover the best tight end, right? A Hall of Fame tight end, to cover him in space like this, going across the field on the drag route you can't ask that of him. I'm sorry. You just cannot ask that of him. You can't ask him to do everything, to blitz, to stop the run, to play deep coverage, to play robber coverage, to do all of this stuff, right? Sometimes he lines up at corner. I've seen him line up at corner a couple of times too. You can't ask him to do all of this. I am sorry. It's just too much. It's just too much. When you look at some of the best safeties in the league, they were not asked to do this, right? You look at some of the best safeties of all time. They were not asked to do all that stuff. They're not. It was Ed Reed asked to come down and man up on, who was it? Who were some of the best? Tony Gonzalez, or I don't know, any other great tight end you can think about in during that day. No, he wasn't asked to do that. Was Troy Polamalu asked to do that? Was Troy Polamalu asked to come up and to shut down? No, he wasn't asked to do that. You're asking too much of Derwin James. I get that he can play everywhere, but that doesn't mean that he should be playing everywhere, especially in a situation like this. Again, situational football is what I talked about. You have to be sound, fundamentally sound. And these are not fundamental. This is not a sound fundamental defensive call. And honestly, if you're looking at this, why would you run this? Why would you run this? Take Derwin James, right? Play him in off coverage. Have him shadow Kelce in off coverage, because at least he's going to be able to gain depth and he's going to make tackle after a catch. But when you have him here trying to press him off the line of scrimmage, he gets no hands on him either. He doesn't get a hand, he doesn't get hands on him, doesn't get a jam, nobody reroutes him. He's able to run his route. He doesn't get touched. And that's what I'm talking about. Nobody touches him. When he catches the ball, nobody touched him the whole entire time except at the 1 yard line when JT Woods tried to get a hit on him. That what where do they do this? Where do they do this? What type of defense does this? And I posted another play on Twitter yesterday where Travis Kelce doesn't get touched. How? This is tackle football. You can touch these guys out here. You can touch them. He doesn't get touched. He does not get touched. Ball gets snapped 18-yard line, right? Let's watch the play through. Let's see where he gets touched at. He's here. He's not touched. Okay. Ball snapped. Not touched. Catches the ball. Not touched. Still not touched. Still not touched. Okay. Touched right there at the goal line. Where do they do this? Where do they do this? Who calls defensive plays this way? How does this happen? Look at it. He's not touched. Still not touched. Nobody gets hands on him. Nobody's even trying to. Nobody's even attempting to get hands on him. This is why I'm saying, man, Brandon Staley, the defense, whatever is going on there, it is not working. It's just not working. And they can say whatever they want. The Chargers can post whatever they want on Twitter and all of this stuff. Oh, we got to learn on. We got to move on. We just got to learn from this. You ain't got to learn shit from this. You're going to come out and you're going to do the same exact thing. Like, you're going to do the same exact thing. The next game is going to be the same exact thing. They're not learning anything from this. This does not work. And the Chargers are already past the point where, and I've even criticized Staley for not making adjustments and all that stuff. There's no adjusting out of this. There's just no adjusting out of this. This is bad football. This is just bad football. People have to understand it. We have to realize it. This is just bad football. The Chargers are in a position now that they have to make the playoffs, or everybody should be gone, right? I think regardless, even if they do sneak into the playoffs, everybody should be gone. But they're in a position now where they can't lose anymore. They can't lose. There no more losing. No more losing. The wild card is probably going to take 10-7 to get there. Chargers already got 5 losses. If they lose at Arizona, it's a wrap. Because after Arizona, you have 2 playoff teams in Miami and Tennessee coming to SoFi Stadium. Then after that, you still have 2 divisional road games, 2 that are never easy. Raiders, Broncos, those are never easy. You can say bye-bye to the playoffs if the Chargers lose against the Cardinals this Sunday. You can say bye-bye. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, man. It's just not going to happen. It's bad. It's just bad football. It's just bad football. It's bad football. Let's see. Adderley was correct. He has to Robert III receiver because of the motion. No, but he came all the way over though. So okay, let's take a look at it again, right? So the motion here from Watson, right? So what you're seeing here, right? You have help here on the backside. There is no other safety here on the backside, though. So when you see that, he should be here already now because he knows that Kelce is here. You should know where Kelce is on the field. And that's what I'm saying. This, to me, and situational football, again, okay, so let's rewind it here again. So, yes, he sees the motion, but Michael Davis is in man coverage, right? He is playing the same coverage as Derwin James. Michael Davis is a corner, though. And when you look here, right, he's not beat. Michael Davis is not beat. Michael Davis is it looks like he's kind of playing trail coverage, right? It kind of looks like trail coverage to me because he doesn't think, and whether or not it's true, he doesn't think that Watson is that much faster than him. So it looks like trail coverage to me. And he's there. He's there because Watson doesn't continue running across the field. So if you're Adderley, you have to know where Travis Kelce is. And again, this is situational football, right? So much of what happens on the field, especially in positions like this, you have to know where players are. You have to be able to locate Travis Kelce on the field. Travis Kelce had, up until this point, he had 5 catches for 5 catches for 98 yards, 2 touchdowns, right before this. So he still was having a good game. Know where players are out on the field. And this is what situational football comes down to, knowing where your guys are out on the field. Knowing, even if I am in robber coverage, I'm looking at Travis Kelce, right? I know I got Michael Davis. Michael Davis is in man coverage against Justin Watson. I like that matchup. I like Michael Davis against Justin Watson in man to man, right? So if you are a player on the field, who is the guy that is going to beat you? It's going to be Travis Kelce, right? If it's not going to be Travis Kelce, it's going to be somebody else. So at that point, I mean, technically, was he in the right position? It's hard for me to say that he was in the right position. It was really, really hard for me to say that he was in the right position, because when he's here, if he doesn't overreact to this, especially with Michael Davis playing trail coverage, and if Watson, he stops his route. He ends up stopping his route, right? There's no way the Chargers can know that, but he does end up stopping his route about here. But JT Woods is back here, though, so he can come up and support this, right? This, even if this pass goes to Watson, is not going to score. And that's what my point is. This here, no jam off the line of scrimmage, being beat right away, and then Adderley here standing flat-footed is a touchdown. That ends the game. This does not end the game, though. The pass to Watson here doesn't end the game, because if Michael Davis is playing, and Michael Davis is playing the trail coverage because he knows that Woods is coming up, or he knows that Woods is back here at least. I don't think Woods should have been as deep, because there was no deep there, and he starts backing up, and he's all the way in the end zone. There's really nobody in the end zone. I don't think he should have been that deep, but he's here. He's backing up. So yeah, so if he's here, so now he sees the ball. Ball's already been passed, right? It's already in Kelce's hands. Woods is here, so he was here to make a play. That's why Michael Davis was playing trail coverage, because he was there to make a play. Now let me rewind it just to make sure that I'm correct on that. It looks like he's playing trail coverage. It looks like he's playing trail. Yeah, it looks like he's playing trail, and he stops the route. He stops the route because his route was just to free Kelce up. So yeah. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. And when you see the defensive alignment too, Adderley made a mistake. It's clear to me that Adderley made a mistake. It's very, very clear to me, because where did I stop it at? Right here. So here, it's clear to me that Adderley made a mistake, because why would you have two guys here in the same area? That doesn't make any sense. That was not. I don't think that was correct. He's in trail here. He's in trail because he knows he's here. So if Mahomes lofts the ball up here, that's JT Woods. He has to go get that. And if Mahomes throws it here kind of behind him, Michael Davis can bait Mahomes into throwing the ball so he can jump in front of him. That's what trail coverage is. But yeah, no, I don't think he is in the right position, because you can't have two guys back here, doing this when all of the routes are up here and back here. So they're not supporting anybody. You might as well just take these motherfuckers off the field, pretty much, with the way that the game ended, because this is all man to man. So they're not here supporting anybody. This is not supporting anybody. This is just bad coverage, a bad play call too. I don't know why you would have that there. Chargers would have been much better off in just a cover two shell with man under. If they just exact same personnel in the field, just to cover two, JT Woods here, Adderley here, because at least at that point you can come up and make a tackle. You can come up and make a tackle at the 10-yard line, and then, chances still don't look good for you to stop them, but at least you can go and fight another play. Maybe you can get a tip ball interception or whatever, but there's no there's no excuse for that, because you can't have two guys here. It doesn't. Like I said, this looks like a punt return. This looks like a punt return with Travis Kelce running wide open, Derwin James already in the dust, and you have two guys here. What is going on? That should not happen. That just should not happen. So the robber coverage, to me, Staley should. I'm sorry. Adderley should have adjusted his cover. He should have adjusted what he did. If this guy catches a touchdown and beats you, oh well. I personally could live with that. I can't live with this guy, especially knowing how the game ended last year. I can't live with this guy beating me. I just can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't think that that was the right coverage. It looks like it was a mistake to me. It looks like it was a mistake. Um, no, it wasn't cover two. It was cover one robber. But the robber is never supposed to be, even when people, anybody play Madden, right? You guys know Madden. Even when the cover one robber, it's never the deep safety is always down here, but the robber is never like right under the deep safety. Because why? Why would you need the robber under the deep safety? You know what I'm saying? Because the deep safety can just come down here and just make a play. But the robber normally is on this side of the field. So these guys are kind of separated a little bit. He is trying to get back to the middle of the field because he's the deep safety. He wants to be able to react to either side of the field. So he wants to be right here where this hash is. If he's right here where this hash is, then he can, get on his horse and react to this side or react to that side. But this robber here, him being here does nothing for anybody because none of the routes are coming this way. And these, again, are drag routes. These are not posts. And you play robber coverage when you're going to get like post routes. Post routes, maybe possibly some post corners. I don't think that's what the Chiefs were running. I don't. I really didn't see them run any of that stuff all game long. So robber coverage is the wrong call to me. You got to get in a too deep shell. Don't let anything get behind you, come up and react to anything in front of you. Too deep shell with man under, so that way you have help over the top. But again, man, it's a lot of this is confusing. A lot of this is confusing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the defense. It's just bad. It's just bad, just bad. These players are not coached well. He shouldn't have made this mistake. No, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have made the mistake because you come out, you make it look like punt coverage. You make it look like a punt return, and it shouldn't look like a punt return. I'm saying it just should not look like a punt return. That should not look like a punt return. You have Kelsey running free, and again, you have two guys back here in the same area covering nothing. There's nothing there to cover. There's no routes that are going there. Mahomes is ready to launch the ball with nobody back here. So again, man, it's just bad coaching. It's honestly just bad coaching. But yeah, I honestly think it's just time to go in a different direction with Staley. So yeah, that was the what I wanted to cover there. So we'll run it again for old time's sake because the game ended the same way last year. But man, there's not a lot I can say about this. It's just bad, undisciplined, non-fundamental football, and you made it easy on a team who you should make it easy on. So that's all I had here. I wanted to break down some of that stuff that I've seen. Just watching the film, it was very, very disheartening to say the least when I was watching that. So I thought I would come on here and share that with everybody else. It's just so bad, man. It's just so bad. Bad football. Bad coaching makes players non-existent 100%. Definitely. And Tom Brady said that when he played the Ravens, every play was find and read. Yeah, why didn't we do that with Kelsey? We don't have that type of coach. We don't have that type of coaching staff. They just don't really pay attention to that type of stuff. And a lot of times, like you hear great coaches, my neck stretched out a little bit. You hear great coaches say all the time, it's not necessarily about the plays, it's about the players, right? Especially when it comes down to situational football. Time to win the game in a crucial area like that. It's not so much about the plays, it's about the players. So they treated Travis Kelsey like he was a no-name or a non-household name type of guy, like a Justin Watson, like a MVS. They treated him that way, and we got burned by it. And I don't know why you would treat him that way because he's not. He is a guy that can beat you. He beat us last year. He beat us last year in man coverage against a corner, against Michael Davis. So you know that this is a guy that can beat you in man coverage. Don't know why you would send Derwin James down there to play man coverage because he can't cover. As much as I love Derwin James, he doesn't cover like a corner. And he shouldn't be expected to because he is a safety. But again, man, it's just bad coaching. These guys are not really in positions to make plays. Again, I think the scheme is bad. think the coaching is bad. Honestly, we are blessed to have 5 wins. We're blessed to be 5-5. This team should not be 5-5. This team should be 3-7, to be honest with you. Um, but we're blessed to be 5-5. And going forward, again, Arizona. This game is a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be easy and all of this stuff. No, if the Chargers come out with this type of stuff, they're going to get burned. They're going to get burned. Kyler Murray will be playing. He's been out the past couple of weeks, but he will be playing. So again, there's really no room for error. The margin is thin. It gets thinner every week. Every play, the margin gets thinner. And if the Chargers go to Arizona and lose, and they get 6 losses, again, you can say bye-bye to the playoffs, because this Arizona team is not good. They have underachieved all season long. They have been bad defensively. They have been, pretty bad offensively, even though they've had some injuries and stuff. But they have just been, and they're kind of a mess too. They have a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if anybody heard about the assistant coach with the Cardinals. He got fired. He groped a woman. They played in Mexico City, right? They played the Niners in Mexico City on Monday night. One of the assistant coaches, I think the offensive line coach, I want to say the offensive line coach, he groped a woman in Mexico City, right? Out of the country. And I guess the lady that he groped, I guess she reported it to authorities, or I don't know for sure, but it somehow made it back to the team, and they ended up firing him, and they sent him home before the game. So they have like some stuff. They have some internal stuff going on. There was a report that came out earlier. I think it was Tom Pelissero, NFL Network. He reported that Sean Payton is interested in the Chargers. He's still interested in the Chargers job, and he's potentially interested in the Arizona Cardinals job as well too. So they have a lot of outside noise coming in as well too. This team is not, Kyler Murray. He's been sort of an issue this year. He's kind of standoffish and stuff. And I guess him and Cliff Kingsbury haven't been seeing eye to eye. They're a team that has a lot of issues going on. Arizona, they have a lot of issues. They have a ton of issues going on. They have more issues than the Chargers have. And if you come out and you lose to this team on Sunday, it is going to be a referendum on Brandon Staley. And I think if that happens, right, if the Chargers lose, go to 5-6, anything short of winning out, their goose is going to be cooked. Brandon Staley's goose is going to be cooked. This team will be moving in a new direction as far as head coaching goes, because the talk is there, and all it does is get bigger every week, right? The national talk is there. Chargers have been on TV past 2 games, national TV games. The talk is there. The chatter is there. And, you're going to have to make a decision, and you're going to have to move on at some point. And I think it's going to happen, man. I honestly think it's going to happen if the Chargers lose this game. If they lose this game, then I think player morale goes low. And at that point, you're going to be looking at having a legitimate losing season. So we'll see what happens. But man, it's things are not looking well for either of these teams, Arizona and the Chargers. Andy Reid ran circles around Brandon Staley, who I would say is better than the other 2 AFC West coaches. It's a new Pats dynasty because it's Belichick versus Joe Philbin all over again. Yeah, pretty much. Staley is better than the other AFC West coaches. Yeah, I know he's better than. Yeah, he's better than Hackett. I would say he's better than McDaniels. But the only reason why I say that is because he's so new, and Hackett just doesn't really know what he's doing at all. But yeah, Staley he kind of wins that by default because the other 2 guys are so bad. Say, do you want a link to the Chargers Discord, or you got a Discord we can join? No, I don't have a Discord. Somebody asked me about that the other day. I don't even really know how to use Discord, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, you can send me a link. But I was thinking about getting into that. I need to learn how to work it. I downloaded it one time, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" But I need to. Yeah, you can definitely send me a link to it, because I do eventually want to have a Discord going. Let's see, they will run the ball against the Chargers, and it's all over. No playoff hope for the Chargers. Can't argue. I can't argue with that because the run game is going to be there. If Cliff Kingsbury wants to get a win and keep his job, they'll run the ball more than 30 times. And if they do that, then yes, I think they will win. But um, it's not looking good, man. I have no optimism. No optimism. They have sucked all the optimism out of my body. The Chargers have. If we got to lose to get Sean Payton, so be it. I mean, hey, it's out there. It's out there. He keeps putting it out there. He wants it to be out there. So he's really making sure that people know he's interested. See if we win and don't get Sean Payton, is more Staley a win? Win and don't is more Staley a win? No, more no. I think it's done. I think, like I said, anything short of a really big playoff run, and even if the Chargers do go get hot at one, and win 5 in a row or whatever, still doesn't negate all the bad coaching. Still doesn't negate the bad defense. It still doesn't negate any of that. Like, this is being written in stone, it's being etched in stone that Brandon Staley is not a good defensive coach. He's just not a good defensive coach. He doesn't have that prowess. Like, it's being written in stone. 27 games is a pretty big sample size, especially having Justin Herbert at quarterback and having all these Pro Bowlers. There's talent on this team. Like, there's just the story is being written pretty much. And like I said, anything short of a miracle playoff run, I just don't think it's. I don't know. I don't know why Staley would be back. I don't know why the franchise would have him back if that were to happen. But for me, I'm out on him. I just don't think he knows what he's doing. I think he's more as they say, more bark than bite. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they want to. If the Chargers want to keep, the team together, and if they don't want to move on from Staley, then it's going to be a lean year next year, to me, honestly. So, Sean Payton wants to lead this team to victory. Yeah, that's why he keeps putting it out there. He keeps making sure that it's out there. So, we'll see. Tom Telesco gave McCoy and Lynn 3 years. Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm worried about. But McCoy and Lynn had Phillip Rivers, though, and they didn't have a ready-made team to win. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot riding on it, and that was the McCoy time was way before the Chargers moved to LA. And then the Lynn time, the Chargers were in LA, but they were still at the small soccer stadium. Anthony Lynn, he was there for the first year of the stadium with no fans. But now, I think the Chargers are making a lot of money. And I think ownership knows that they have to put a winning product out on the field now. It's not just going to cut it, just being mediocre. So I don't know, man. It's a different area for them. I think they're going to have a lot to think about, especially if the Chargers don't make the playoffs. I think Mike McCoy made the playoffs, and that's the difference. Mike McCoy made the playoffs. He made the playoffs once. They won a playoff game as well, too, right? They won a playoff game in Cincinnati, memory serves me correctly. And Anthony Lynn made the playoffs. Won a playoff game in Baltimore, both wild card victories. So not making the playoffs with Justin Herbert does not look good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Telesco has gotten better over time, but 3 rookie head coaches that have none pan out is pretty damning. Yeah, it is. And Herbert only has so long to play, so they can't afford to do that anymore. Yet we fired Schottenheimer after 1 season, 100%. Yeah, after a 14-2 season. Yeah, Telesco needs to be fired. He was the Chargers 10 years, nothing to show for. Yep, his record is 71-84 as GM. So, but yeah, man, it is. It's going to be some crazy times here, but I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I've been on here for about 2 hours now, so a little more than 2 hours. So I am going to go ahead and sign off here. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content. Even though it's Thanksgiving, I'll be dropping a video. So, hopefully you guys check it out. And, that's all I got for here. So thank you guys so much for all the support. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in with me. Going ahead and signing off now. Thank you guys. Happy holidays. Enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday as well too, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you.